So this is my second YouTube channel video, just showing what's going on in the My Guitar Shop. This is my basement in my old house. So every time I build a rack, I figure that's gonna get the shop nice and clean. I build a rack and then I fill it up, and then there's more junk laying around. So I got a bunch of neck blanks that were okay, not great. These are like broken bodies up here. These are okay bodies. These are pieces that I was going to use for this layered approach that I did a couple on and kind of got stuck. This is where the raw wood gets stored until I build it into blanks. There's some limba there. There's an old half-done neck with LEDs. Purple one with LEDs that just took forever to wire up. We got to finish those off. The theory is that we have this workout bench that if I walk by enough doing guitar jobs, then maybe I'll stop workout. We got a couple little Bose AM3s kicking out some music here. I used to think those were great speakers when I was like 15. Now you buy them on eBay for 90 bucks and just throw them in the basement and tape them up. I got a couple bodies there that I forgot about, honestly. I was gonna do, I think, some solid colors for myself. Here's the dipping magic tub here. I don't want to tell all my secrets, but a lot of dips came out of that tub. So here's my laundry tub of basically half-baked supplies and things like that. I intend to be neater, but I am never neater. Here's the layered body, though, that I'm getting excited about. Made a mistake on the back, so I glued down the piece there. Has this kind of gnarly look on the armrest, and I still managed to keep a full piece on the front. So I think this one's high up on the list of working on soon. I sanded it out once. So we're going through here. This is where I kind of sand out bodies before I prep them. I just found this stand that I was going to use. I'm going to do a little bit of talking on that. Go through, like, they're in different stages here. Like, sometimes I throw, if there's a deep cut, I'll throw a little body filler in there. Here's my main tools here. Here's the spray guns over here. The one on the right is for primer. That's a kind of expensive gun, couple $100. The second one in is for the clear coat. It was like a $300 gun. This little guy's for solid colors. I've never gotten good at using it. It's kind of a bummer, but that was an expensive gun. The guy at the store was going to show me how to get it to not spit little particles. And then the two on the left are just throwaway $20 guns that I use for this polyester base coat that I put on as the very first coat. And then here's a stack of wood already made into blanks. And you can see in here, there's one of these layered ones. I had this kind of cool idea that I layer it with metal, but this stack I've been whittling down. I feel like a woodchuck. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck? Every one of those is going to be a body at some point. I think I made 10 of them the last couple weeks since we got inspired after the virus. And this is like the holding pattern in here. So this is one, if I wet sand the prime, it goes a lot smoother, but then I gotta let it dry out a couple days. This guy here has the last coat of clear done, and he's ready for a sand and a buff. This guy here, believe it or not, I bought from another guy that still does some swirl paint jobs, and I believe it's 10 years old now. In that range, yeah. There he says 2010, so it's 2020 now. That's one of my personal projects, but I have a purple LED neck that guy should be pretty cool. Now this guy here, I decided to keep for myself too. So he's getting close to a sand and a buff, and I don't know if you can really see it on here. In person, it's kind of neat. I'm gonna flip this guy. This is supposed to be shot video, but you know, it is what it is. So this is what we call the double dip, and you can kind of see, yeah, it doesn't really show up in the video, but there's two different swirls on this guy. You can see a little bit in there. So he didn't turn out right, so I did a second dip, and it just kind of gave it a neat effect on the outside. So I got some neat pickups for that. These, it's a Loch Ness green. Believe it or not, it's dark here, it doesn't look that good. But this does match the Loch Ness green almost exactly. So it took like years and years of fussing around with getting that. I'll do a separate video on that, but I do need to sand this one out and start from scratch to get a more consistent pattern on it. But that guy's getting ready to be a Loch Ness green, and we got a Loch Ness green headstock ready to rock on him. So that's more of like the holding pattern. My cousin Joel was an environmental Nazi. He talked me into putting these motion sensing lights on here so they do shut off. So my house, I think I said in the first videos, old house, started in the Depression, 28. They stopped working on the house, rebuilt it in 35. So it's old school, old bones, a lot of room. There used to be a gigantic 6 foot by 6 foot boiler in here. Pop that out, we got this really kick-ass planer here that's really changed everything on what I can do on building blanks. The DeWalt that I had was just no good. You had to run it through way too many times. So we put new boilers in when we moved in, like 20 years ago. So these are not guitar interesting, but a German-made boiler. So it really increased the efficiency of this house like dramatically. So what I did was we have this not reverse, but a exhaust fan for when I spray in here. And this is how much overspray I have. This is overspray over, 10 years. So I scrape it down once in a while. Have some filtration in there. I scrape it down here and there. Just vacuum like crazy. It's a messy, messy job. Found this guy online, rattle can rack. That was nice to kind of get some stuff off the table there, get it off the floor. But I set up this switch so that when I turn the fan on, it runs through this relay, and then I wired it up and over to the boilers. So when the fan's on, the boilers cannot be on. And when the fan shuts off, the boilers turn back on. And the reason is these guys pull in fresh air just right from this guy here. That's no special thing. So they pull it from there. And when the exhaust fan for painting is on, it keeps the air from going up into that part of the exhaust system. And then basically the whole room fills with boiler exhaust, which is dangerous. It's that carbon monoxide. So that was a bad thing. Fix that problem, so we're good. Same deal with the water heater. So it would pull, the old one would pull air and knock out the pilot light, which was a very bad thing because you get hot water in your boiler for a while, and then you get a lukewarm shower the next day, and it turns cold, and you're really bummed. So we went to a solid or an electronic ignition to that. So it was a whole nother project. So we did that. We have the rigid. It's not an expensive joiner, but since I don't do a huge volume, that's what you do to make a nice even joint to put the guitar bodies together. So here's some more stacks of wood. So that's how it gets before it goes into a plank. Here's some more half-done bodies. Some are usable, some are bad, have little problems. Here's the CNC machine that kind of makes it all happen. Just had my buddy Jim come over, and we did a full kind of retool of the thing on all the bearings and got that thing running pretty good for a while. Big challenge with this thing was running a computer in a dusty room. We used to have the computer under there, but instead drilled a hole through this wall, which took a jackhammer to do. I have a hammer drill with a jackhammer attachment to do a big hole through there. Cement turns really hard after it gets old by 90 years. It's like granite or something like that. So these are just little scraps that I can put together if I need. Kind of use those for the fat part of the bodies. I should probably just throw them out. Got a decent table saw. I can smell in this room it's a bit dusty, so I got to do some cleanup on that. This tool, spindle sander, is good for those, the monkey grip and for inside the horns. This guy, I got this, had this saw for a while, and when I visited this guy in Chicago, it made perfect sense to, instead of having this thing on the ground and doing basic cuts there, just put it up on the table. So it went a long way to helping out there. These things are all the fixtures that we use when we make bodies and different things. So I'll do a separate video of what goes on with the CNC machine. Recently had a little issue with the monitor where we made a mistake, and then it was, I think it was after we did the bearings and put it a little close to the machine, close to the monitor, and this piece, when it came in there, bashed into the monitor and broke it. So the monitor was old, and it was, it really was faded. I just bought a cheap one on eBay like 10 years ago again. It's about how long we've been running this thing. And it was nice to have a new, more modern monitor in there. It's not like it's brand new, but it's decent. They have a big old compressor. So big thing we need in here is compressed air everywhere. So we got air in here to kind of blow off the back of things, kind of hopefully keep it clean. And then we kick the air out through the jackhammered hole into the wall, through the filter system. We go up and over towards the spray booth. So each one of these projects took days and weeks or whatever to do, and put it all together, and that's what we have. So this body over here, this is my rack that I built to hold bodies when they're on sticks after they come out. So this guy is looking good. This is a Jupiter, we call it, the trademark Jupiter paint job. He's got a couple coats of clear on him now, and I think I'm going to do a video of how I sand these guys out. But again, stressing, it's old house, jackhammers. Putting this simple thing in here took a lot of effort physically to jackhammer into that wall. And it's got, you know, cement anchors in there, but it's done. Now it works, and we're using our old school water pipe as one of the pieces to hold it. So I tried to do 5 bodies at a time when I did preps, but I went 3 is the best number, because what happens is my hand here, when you do that on the grip, it's bad for your carpal tunnel. The other thing that's bad for your grip is when you're using your computer mouse all the time. And the other thing that's tough on your grip is when you play the guitar all the time. So 3 things I like to do. With that hand, at least, we'll say, all have this carpal tunnel effect, which I've been doing a lot better on that. So I'm pretty happy with that. And I've been kicking out a lot of prep bodies during the coronavirus disaster of 2020. So we'll see you guys.